When it comes to cruising, we all know the best parts are when you are on board. But what about when it is time for you to disembark your cruise? Well, this is where you get that dreadful feeling of not wanting to leave, as you have been having so much fun on board, meeting new people, and exploring all that your vacation has to offer. It has been told that when it comes to disembarkation day, you should aim to leave the cruise as early as you can. But I'm here to tell you that all of that is wrong. As a crew member that has been employed to so many cruise lines, one of the worst things you can do is rush yourself to get off the cruise on the last day. So in today's video, I will share with you all the reasons why you don't want to rush the disembarkation process. But before we begin though, I am asking you kindly to become a supporter of the channel by clicking that subscribe button below, as my goal will be to continue bringing you the valuable tips, tricks, and advice you will need for a successful vacation. So please don't hesitate and help a crew member out. Alright, let's continue. Now, in this video, I want you to pay close attention to all the reasons I will lay out here, because as a benefit to you, each reason I mention here will be as important as the last, and there will be some things you need to avoid doing for your own peace of mind, especially on the last day of your cruise. So one of the reasons you don't want to disembark from the cruise too early is the fact that you will most likely miss any final day amenities and services, such as a decent morning breakfast that will be offered on the last day of your cruise on board. And when I say this, I'm talking about how cruise ships will go the extra mile to create a memorable experience for you up until even the last day and your final morning of the cruise. So if you decide to disembark too early, then you will risk missing out on having an included final day breakfast before getting off the ship, just because you are in a rush. So make sure to take your time and enjoy on board having a breakfast and that final service to you before leaving the ship. The next thing to take note of if you disembark your cruise too early is that there might be a chance you can miss any final farewell given by the crew on board. And this can be even simple gestures thanking you for making your cruise vacation stay with that particular cruise line. The last thing the crew wants you to feel like is you being rushed off the ship on the final day. And trust me, it is never the crew's intention to make you feel less special on the last day of the cruise. So don't get that feeling you are being rushed off the ship. Now, a next reason you might want to consider on the last day of your cruise is if you leave too early, then you might miss out on any final onboard photo opportunities, because at this time, certain common areas of the ship will be left empty, giving you some of the best time to take any last minute photos before you disembark your cruise. But how would you know this if you leave the ship too early on the final day? The final day of the cruise will be one of the best time to have some of the best well taken photos you will need for your memories, or for you to even share with others such as family and friends. So make sure to get those last minute photos that you didn't get during the cruise on the final day when the areas are a bit less crowded. The next thing I want to mention is on the final day of the cruise, you may have some last minute resolutions that you may want to clear up and want to address these with the customer service team on board. These resolutions can range from simple things such as ensuring that you don't have any pending bills or settlements on board that needs to be cleared or very well not even be aware of. You could even use this time to make these settlements, voice any concerns, or give any final suggestions before you depart the cruise. The guest services team will be happy to help and assist you with finalizing any of these things, or even to just double check any travel arrangements that you may have booked through the cruise line. So you disembarking too early may have you missing the chance to finalize any of these last minute concerns. We've had cases on board where guests disembark too early and our guest services team are searching all over the ship trying their best to find these guests so that they can finalize any last minute concerns and requests that they had made. You don't want this situation to be you, where you might miss out on all these things and not get the required help because you disembark the ship too early. Another important thing to know before you decide to try and disembark your cruise too early is that the cruise lines are set up in a way that considers the safety of the passengers. The disembarkation process is carefully planned and it is set up to ensure that things operate in a smooth transition from the ship to the shore side, and this falls under the fact that not all guests will be allowed to leave at the same time. This is due to the importance of having a controlled flow of passengers who will be heading off the ship. So the disembarkation process is structured to maintain this orderly flow of passengers, and doing this will ensure both passenger and crew safety, all while being an efficient exit strategy for those who need to disembark. So passengers will most likely have some form of designated schedule they will need to follow as part of their disembarkation process, and by following these designated priority schedules will allow the crew staff to manage the movement and prevent overcrowding, congestion, or bottleneck of the key disembarkation areas of the ship. Also, having a maintained flow of passengers will allow a much more manageable movement through any customs, immigration, or border patrol. This will also be a part of your process of when you disembark, as the cruise line will have to take accountability and keep in check to ensure all the disembarking passengers have made their way off the cruise. So make sure you keep this in mind next time, that not everyone will be allowed off the ship at the same time due to these factors of safety and immigration processes that all passengers will have to go through on the final day of the cruise. The next reason why you shouldn't rush to disembark the cruise ship early is that it can lead to a lot of stress and most likely you making rush decisions that can end up even delaying or making your disembarkation process much more difficult. And what I mean by this is that rushing off the cruise ship on the final day, you can find yourself sometimes leaving valuable items behind, all because you didn't take the time to slow down and double triple check your belongings before disembarking the cruise. Trust me when I say it is better for you and the crew when you can take that time to ensure you have everything that belongs to you, than for when you leave the ship early to then realize you left something on board and you need to either go back and get it or have it returned to you somehow. And this then means you are transferring this unnecessary aspect of your cruise to a crew member that has to stop their duties to assist with this. Don't get me wrong, the crew doesn't see an issue with having to assist passengers even after they have left the ship, but it's just that the crew will now have to take on this new burden on top of their regular scheduled duty. I've seen guests who leave way too early even before their luggage makes it outside to the cruise terminal and totally forget about it. Heck, it even happened to me once when I was disembarking the ship and I accidentally left my bags in the cruise terminal. Luckily, being a crew member, I had direct contact to staff on board and management was able to get my belongings to me at a hotel I was staying nearby. But not everyone will be lucky enough to have direct contact to the cruise ship to get any left behind belongings. So this can lead to that unnecessary stress that I've mentioned, and this is what you don't want to add at the end of your cruise. Another not so known reason you don't want to disembark the cruise ship too early is the fact that you might be able to lock in any last minute deals or get any exclusive promotions that the cruise ship might have on the final day. I know in most cases it doesn't work like this, but there are some rare occasions that this does happen. For instance, you might find extending your cruise or future bookings can get you some cheaper or discounted rate on the final day. So if you want to find these deals on the last day of your cruise, then be sure to stick around for a little while longer and try to chat with a cruise booking specialist. You may be surprised you might be in for a great deal at the end of your cruise, but like I said earlier, these things can rarely happen. But in reality, it can still happen. And the cruise line does accommodate for future bookings as well, even on the final day when you are still on board. So make sure you keep looking for those cost savings, discounts, sales, and offers by the cruise ship even on your final day. Now, this next reason is one I rarely see happen, but it should be a must for your next time cruising. And it is on your final day of the cruise to just take some time to fully appreciate the ship and how well it has treated you for your time on board. Passengers on the last day shouldn't feel too rushed to get off the cruise ship, but instead have that time to explore and walk around to see their favorite spots one last time before having to disembark. I myself would highly encourage this, as you can just take in that last enjoyment of the areas of the ship you will miss the most, and just take in that atmosphere one last time until it is time for you to leave and come back on board again in the future. Just as much as you will miss the crew and the service and your favorite spots on board, we as crew will miss you just as much the same. So promise me for your next cruise to just take that extra time, slow down, and fully appreciate all that you had enjoyed on board. If you've enjoyed the information from this video, I am now asking you to leave a like, comment below if you've ever had to leave the cruise ship early or had the opportunity to extend your stay on board. I would like to hear what you have to say. Also, watch my next video that you may see here on the screen. It's Unique, your cruise employee, and I'm out.